Introducing Evolution of Early Childhood Care and Education, ECFS 1001. History and Philosophy of Early Childhood Development. E-Tutor Miss Margaret Mackenzie. Group 6 members Nissa Lindsay, Group Leader, Charlene Sawney, Rondin Daly, Alicia Charles, Alicia Modest. This video was compiled to depict the narrative of early childhood education and care in Trinidad and Tobago. The policies which were implemented and the investments contributed to early childhood development promotes other Caribbean countries such as Grenada. This presentation depicts an understanding of the research and theories of theorists' theory which influenced various teaching techniques and development of early childhood over the years. This expedition will launch into the ancient period and disembark on the existing progression of early childhood in the Caribbean.
In the 20th century, worldwide economic and social changes increased demand for childcare services outside the home. This facilitated the increased requests, which were normally incorporated by private sectors, institutions, the Child Welfare League, and churches. The first private nursery school was launched in Trinidad and Tobago in 1934. Where children were being taught the introductory 3 R's known as reading, writing, and arithmetic. In the early 1960s, the Trinidad and Tobago administration acknowledged the request for the necessities of early childhood care and education. In September 1970, Trinidad and Tobago's government launched the first preschool project, assisted by Bernard Van Leer Foundation at Le Posterior Community Center. Under this project, there were 15 centers established within the first 3 years. The continued partnership along the village council and the government established early childhood centers in various communities. The government of Trinidad established the preschool unit in the Ministry of Education in 1974. The Ministry of Education assigned the National Task Force on Education to evaluate the educational structure for the further growth of the society.
In 2011, the Ministry of Education gave a mandate to rearrange the early childhood centers into groups based on educational districts and their locations. They also implemented a new managerial structure, appointing an administrator responsible for 3 to 4 centers which house 1 teacher and 2 assistant teachers. The entry-level qualifications to become an early childhood practitioner was upgraded from 5 academic subjects to a Bachelor of Education degree. The upgraded early childhood education centers now consist of large outdoor play space equipped with monkey bars, slide, and sand and water area. The spacious indoor environment is sectioned into different play areas including dramatic play, arts and craft, blocks, and music, which is conducive to children's development. The Ministry of Education Administration, along with the private sector, offers services to roughly 33,226 children.
Jerome Bruner was worried with the method on how knowledge was depicted and arranged through various methods of analyzing. In his study of cognitive development of children, he suggested three approaches of representation: enactive, iconic, and symbolic. His constructivist theory proposed that a learner, both young and old, is competent of learning any information providing the commands are relatively arranged in precise disparity to the opinions of Piaget and other theorists. Enactive, the primary stage of recollection. This method is utilized during the first year of life, 0 to 1. It accords with Piaget's sensory motor period. This period, children develop a perception of their surroundings through testings and mistakes. Thoughts are derived from physical activities and children learn by action opposed to thinking. Iconic. Knowledge is reserved as sensory symbols, normally visual ones, such as photos in the brain. Thoughts are also utilized on further intellectual icons, for instance, smelling, touching, and hearing. This period occurs between 1 to 6 years. Symbolic. This period ranges from 7 and beyond. Data is stored in the shapes of codes or symbols, for example, language. This is in accordance to Piaget's concrete operational period. During this period, Piaget contemplated this stage as a critical juncture in the child's cognitive growth because this is the point where logical processing occurs. Yuri Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory is one of the largest trusted justification concerning the effects of social surroundings on human maturation. This theory asserts that the surroundings you grow up influences all aspects of your being. Social elements control your way of analyzing the emotions you experience and your approvals and disapprovals. He observed that children's character relied on the conditions they were exposed to. Consequently, he began researching the components that impacted the most of children's development. He contemplated the environment was categorized in 5 connected systems. Microsystem. This is a group that has direct connection with the child. The association between this structure and the child's growth is apparent. The parent's opinion impacts who the child becomes. However, the child has the ability to modify their family's opinion. Macrosystem. It comprises a cultural aspect that impact the child and others surrounding them. This system controls growth because it decides how the other system demonstrates oneself.
Four benefits to be derived in having an early childhood center in the community. 1. As per Every Child Matters, early childhood education institutions provide parents with the opportunity to return to work and improve their prospective earnings by offering an environment that safely stimulates and develops the learning that parents provide in the home environment for children. 2. Having an early childhood center in the community provides a safe haven for children to experience said sense of community, allowing them to build relationships and grow physically, psychologically, and cognitively. 4. The Heckman equation 2020 reiterates that funding early childhood education is an economical means of advancing economic growth, as it provides the necessary instruments for developing a largely trained and efficient workforce.
Grenada was selected as another Caribbean island that promotes and invests in early childhood education. Over the past 4 years, the Ministry of Youth, Sport, Education and Social Development has been doing a remarkable job island-wide. With over 74 preschools, 49 which are government-owned and 25 privately owned, the government established programs for children ranging from birth to 7 years. In 1980, preschools were introduced into the primary school system, and since established in 1962, daycare centers have been managed by the Ministry of Social Development. In 2013, the government launched a program called the New Imani Program that gave young persons between ages 18 and 35 the opportunity to gain life skill training and a Caribbean vocational qualification. They also partnered with the Basic Need Trust Fund in renovating a center located at Victoria St. Mark. There was also a short-with diploma education program in March of 2015 where 42 participants were successful in early childhood education training. The Ministry of Education has also recently adapted the high scope curriculum into preschool learning.